From NBC News, this is Today with Matt Lauer and Savannah Guthrie.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today. It's Thursday morning, and I'm your host, Savannah Guthrie.
I'm Matt Lauer, alongside Natalie Morales. The long-awaited United Nations Climate Summit was held on Tuesday, September 23rd at the United Nations headquarters here in New York. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon invited leaders from around the world to address the issues of climate change. The summit was a whole part of the Climate Week in New York City, dedicated to raising awareness and taking action.
The summit's central goals were to incite political action, fortify climate resilience, and reduce emissions, ultimately to keep the global temperature from increasing more than 2 degrees Celsius, or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Summit members addressed 8 specific action areas, among them energy, industry, and agriculture. Overall, however, spokespersons have emphasized that the summit's focus was on action and solutions working toward a new climate agreement by 2015. The summit was not part of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change negotiations, which will be held next year in Paris, so no official treaty was to be the result of the conference.
125 leaders attended the summit, but why is a meeting of this scale necessary? Climate change is occurring at a faster rate than ever before, and it's largely human caused. Essentially, infrared radiation is emitted by the Earth, which is absorbed by greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and re-radiated as heat. That heat is trapped in the atmosphere, making average surface temperatures rise as it warms the water, ice, land, and atmosphere. Because the leaders want to prevent an increase in temperature of over 2 degrees Celsius, they must decide how best to cut our emissions. Among climate experts, 97% of papers that take a position on human-caused global warming agree that not only is it real, we are the main cause. This summer was the hottest on record, which fits with the warming trend. We now turn to our
Thanks, guys. So why should the public care about climate change? Well, as we've seen in California, rising temperatures can lead to droughts, wilting crops, growing insect populations, and faster spread of diseases. Melting sea ice, a result of the especially high Arctic temperatures, makes sea levels rise, while smog and air pollution reduce air quality. Ocean acidification harms sea life, a source of food and revenue. As climate change gets worse, natural disasters increase in frequency and scale. Also, if the planet's temperature were to rise only 4 degrees Celsius, it could cost 1 to 5% of the global GDP, which could amount to almost $850 billion US. Helen Clark, the administrator of the UN Development Program, simply stated the economic consequences.
And that leads to the main question citizens are asking: will this be enough? Their skepticism is not unwarranted. In 2009, the members of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change convened for a similar meeting in Copenhagen, with the intention of mobilizing political action for a treaty, but no treaty was made. Diana Cappiello of the Associated Press claims that the week will be full of ceremony but not much action. What's more, the biggest carbon producers worldwide are China, the US, and India. Yet the Chinese president and Indian prime minister did not attend the summit. At the Copenhagen meeting, attendees decided that 2020 was to be the deadline for proposing new emission reduction plans, and yet both China and the US have stated that they will not be submitting any such proposals for the years after 2020.
Even if the summit has no binding political implications, all is not lost. There are still lots of things that we can do at home, which can be traced back to reducing emissions and therefore preventing temperatures from rising. Americans can consider buying a hybrid to cut down on carbon emissions, choosing locally grown foods to reduce transportation needs, and inserting solar panels to lessen gas and coal dependence.
You can also contact your local legislature or vote for those who advocate for the carbon tax. This will provide a monetary incentive for all companies, businesses, corporations, and power plants to reduce their energy carbon emissions and invest in experimenting with renewable sources. If carbon taxes are put into place, developing nations will also be able to avoid polluting methods of generating energy and focus on renewables instead. All of these strategies will reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that we are putting into the atmosphere, so if enough people make an effort to cut emissions, we can lessen the consequences on our planet and on ourselves.
On behalf of our studios, thank you for watching and have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on Today.